Hi and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Habrish and I'm excited to walk you through some of the new major capabilities in SolidSteel Parametric 7.0. So today's session is all about showing you how the new version dramatically improves our efficiency, flexibility, and automation in structural steel design. Before we dive in, let's take a quick look at this intro video.
Hello, thanks for joining today's webinar with our partner SolidXperts. SolidXperts representing our apps for SolidWorks in North America, so Canada and USA. My name is Sebastian Klietsch and I am the owner and the CEO of Ingenieurgemeinschaft Klietsch GmbH. I know, Ingenieurgemeinschaft is a super difficult word, but it means something like engineering corporation. And that's what we do. We are engineers and we make software for engineers. And I'm happy to be here together with SolidXperts, also a classic family company. So we are sharing the same company vibes, and I'm happy to have SolidXperts representing our apps for SolidWorks, and in today's webinar, showing the Christmas vibes combined with structural steel design, and absolutely thrilled to see what we're going to see later. So sit down, relax, and enjoy the show.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. So for anybody who may be new to Klietsch and their add-ins for SolidWorks, here's a quick overview of what Klietsch actually offers. So first off, we have SolidSteel Parametric for SolidWorks. It is a parametric steel design software at its core with an incredibly high level of automation involved. After that, we have Logical Interface. It's for metal and window design. We have the DSTV Assistant, which is for automated NC data for steel manufacturing. And finally, AluFrame Assistant, which is very similar to SolidSteel Parametric, but more for aluminum framing. So with that context in mind, let's jump into what's new in SolidSteel Parametric 7.0. So version 7.0 is actually a major release, not just a small refinement. So we have some new workflows, new automation methods, new UI improvements, and some major enhancements to things like stair creation, sheet metal-based components, drawings, and our parametric updating. But before we get too much into the technical details, let's get in the holiday spirit. Wow, I wish that I was able to put up my own Christmas tree that fast. Anyways, let's take a look at what's new in SolidSteel Parametric, starting with our stairs feature. So one of the biggest enhancements that we have is the introduction of sheet metal stringers for stairs. So previously, SolidSteel Parametric did support U-profiles and flat stringers. Now you can actually use your sheet metal plates as stringer profiles. So what's the big difference between flat stringers and plate stringers? Well, in principle, they do behave the same geometrically. The real difference is how they're treated by our system. So in general, flat stringers are treated as profiles in our BOM, but when it comes to sheet metal stringers, they're typically treated as plates. So to support this, version 7.0 adds a new profile class. that will allow stair components to be handled entirely as sheet metal. After that, what are the benefits of this? So first off, we're going to have the correct identification as sheet metal in our bill of materials, which means that they'll be recognized automatically by our drawing assistant. And when we move downstream, that means we're also fully compatible with the DXF export. We'll always have the correct assignments for our optional DSTV assistant as well. So why does this matter? Well, it means that our stringer dimensions are no longer limited to standard profile sizes. You can actually use unique, non-standard, or twisted dimensions. And of course, your database can also be expanded with your own sheet metal definitions. After that, our next major feature is fusion. So it's a major enhancement for anybody designing complex stairs with extensions. So previously, adding landings or vertical supports resulted in multiple parts. Now in SolidSteel Parametric, we can actually merge the stringer with all of its extensions into one unified sheet metal part. So what does this do? It enables perfect miters, automatic weld preparation. You have a single sheet export, which means cleaner bombs, and clean continuous DXF export or output. So you'll be able to find that dedicated fusion option in the stair feature. Of course, let's take a look at what it looks like. So here are some previews. The top left, you can see we have two sheet metal parts for the stringer. The fusion feature is activated. And in the bottom left, you can see where both of those sheet metal parts have been fused to form a single sheet. On the right, of course, we have the export features. So you can see we're exporting the DXF of this singular sheet metal part. So at the other end of the workflow, sometimes you might need to split a stringer. For example, for transport, assembly, you have some bolted joints, or you have some on-site welding to do. Version 7.0 actually allows you to split a stringer at any point. So you need to create up to 2 split locations, automatically generate the corrected welded assemblies, and then you can also insert your end plates, your joint connections, or other features immediately after the splitting. So once again, bringing much more flexibility to your real-world fabrication planning. Taking a look at that a little bit closer with some screenshots, you can see the cut dialogues have been fully redesigned with a cleaner layout, giving you a better preview of what the end result is going to look like. Obviously, we have some easier mitering and then faster insertion of our end plates and other cut components. So once again, more improvements that are especially noticeable within the stairs workflow. That's super nice, but what about drawings? All of my exports, right? So this next enhancement actually allows for model grouping when you're creating your drawings. So what does this mean? It's going to create different sections for your different part types. So imagine you have some sheet metal parts, you have some full profiles, and then you might have some welded assemblies, for example. Obviously, you can still manually assign the templates that are being used to generate these different drawings, but grouping does definitely make your batch drawing creation much more efficient. More improvements for our drawings. This one is actually concerning our welded assemblies. So now you can actually create some forced views. Previously, the software did choose these views for your welded component assemblies automatically, and now you can actually force specific views. So imagine front only, top only, rear and front, or any other combination that might be useful for you. So the UI now includes dedicated buttons for choosing between those different views, which gives our designers much more control over the information that they would like to display or show to somebody else. Next up, we do have some improvements on our other features, like our end plates. So when you're inserting an end plate into your model now, the end plate interface is divided into multiple property manager pages for clarity and easier navigation. Not only that, but we also have some new options that allow better selections. So you can select a body edge, a sketch element, or an axis. The software will automatically calculate the exact length to that reference, and then you can apply an offset from that new baseline. This is something that will allow some extremely precise control over your plate length and orientation of that plate. Another enhancement that will help with your positioning and your orientation, if your selected reference is not parallel to the end plate, SolidSteel Parametric will actually automatically rotate your plate to align perfectly now. So let's take a look at what that looks like closer up. On the left here, you can see an end plate being rotated to be parallel to that support edge. And on the right, you can see that we're perfectly aligned with our connection face. It's right dead center. That's not all. We do actually have an improvement for our plates that is fantastic for our fabricators and our detailers. So this is the custom plate feature. This will allow you to select a template part, choose a storage path, and then automatically generate your new sheet metal parts based on the template that was customized by you. So SolidSteel Parametric will automatically populate all the required attributes, ensuring that your bond behavior is still going to be correct. Automatic drawing creation won't be impacted. Same with DSX export. So it's not going to mess with your sheet metal workflow. In fact, it's even more compatible now. Another improvement for our profile placements. Now when you're placing profiles, we'll actually have a coordinate system being displayed, making it much easier to understand the directions of your files, the start versus end of your beams, your parallel offsets, or even your bottom and top definitions. So in general, this should help you position your profiles a lot more precisely on the first try. And then next up, we do have some improvements for our parametric users. So the people that are actually using SolidSteel Parametric for its parametric use. You can now actually update individual components with the update button and not just the whole assembly. So what does this mean? Faster regeneration of your larger assemblies, focused updates in the localized sketch changes. Only dependent parts are going to be regenerated, not the entire model every time. Overall, a huge gain in productivity on your complex models. So close up over here, you can see what that looks like. On the left, we've made a selection for only one component to modify. With the update button, it's just going to rebuild that one specific part if you've made any changes in its sketch. We're getting close to the end here. So the last two topics is this first one, manual bolting. We have some improvements for our multi-selections. So faster selection of faces and components when you want to do some manual bolting. And then now we have some hole sketch support. So you can use a sketch to define hole placement, very similar to the hole wizard in SolidWorks if you're familiar. And then those holes will be created and bolted automatically by SolidSteel Parametric. So this does give users an option, a hybrid option between manual control and automation when it comes to the bolting in their steel structures. And last but not least, automated part renaming. So parts can actually now be renamed according to user-defined naming scheme, where you can incorporate things like free text, some variable values, or even some of your own custom attributes like order numbers and so on. Those can all be added to your file name as well. So this ensures consistent file naming within your enterprise and improved project organization overall. And with that, that brings me to the end of my presentation. So before we close, if you have any questions about SolidSteel Parametric, the update to 7.0, or any of the new features that you saw today, feel free to ask them in the chat. We'll take a moment to read them out and answer them. If not, like I said, it's the end of my presentation. So we do have a bit of an offer going on right now. So if you're interested in SolidSteel Parametric or any trainings, contact us and we'll get in touch. So to finish off, a light note, keep you in the holiday spirit. And that is actually all we have for you today. So thank you so much for joining us. If you would like a personalized demo of SolidSteel parametric pricing or a trial, feel free to reach out to the Solid Experts team. We'd be more than happy to help. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next year.